There's a fine line between love and hate. Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 video game moments that made fans rage quit.
What's really up?
Hey, thinking of taking a little ride. 3 Deep mentioned a little something that might put us deeper in the game.
All right, I'm down.
Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we're looking at sections of games that are notorious, difficult, or tedious that they can make even the biggest fans smash their controllers. I'm Todd Haberkorn. I have squeezed my controller in complete and pure anger for many years, and that's not a euphemism.
Let's get ready to mojo!
Number 10, Oracle and Heretic Leader, Halo 2.
The elites are blind, Arbiter, but I will make them see.
By the time this sequel finally reintroduced the Flood, it became very apparent that they were nigh unbeatable. If fighting your way through the gas mine's endless waves wasn't bad enough, this level also featured an unhealthy amount of backtracking. Just when you thought you finally made it to the Heretic Leader and are about to close up shop, it turns out things are far from done. This fight features 2 infinitely respawning clones of the Heretic. If you don't kill the real one fast enough, the fake ones will keep coming back to dish out more punishment. Someone pass me the Covenant's helpline number. I want to lodge a complaint, written in poo.
Ask the Oracle about Halo, how they would sacrifice us all for nothing.
Number 9, Iceman, Mega Man. This franchise has never exactly been easy, but few of its bosses are as trollish as trolls found inside comment boxes beneath videos on YouTube. I mean, the original Iceman. His stage is notoriously difficult, requiring players to memorize complex patterns of disappearing platforms, dodge ground enemies so low you can't actually shoot them, and avoid killer penguins through movement-slowing water. Once you do all that, which is almost impossible without the magnet beam, you'll come face to face with the abominable snowman himself. Unless you want him to pummel you with frosty projectiles, we recommend getting a hold of Fireman or Electman's weapons. That is, if you even get through that stupid slippery stage. Number 8, Rescuing the Tribals. Ugh. Jet Force Gemini.
Has been enslaved by Mythra. Free as many tribals as you possibly can.
Considering you have to rescue every tribal in order to complete the game, you'd hope the developers would have made it less of a chore. No chance. The tribals themselves are weak and useless, meaning you have to babysit every last one of them to stop them from dying. And if even one of those little bastards expires, you'll have to start the whole stage over again to actually progress. Because there's no manual saving or checkpoints until you successfully beat the stage. Not long after this ordeal begins, you'll be wondering why you can't just let Mizar enslave them and be done with it.
Number 7, Mike Tyson, Punch-Out.
Arguably one of the most broken final bosses in gaming, Tyson is next to impossible to beat on the NES. After challenging and besting several rival boxers, each tougher than the last, you'd think we'd have more than enough preparation to defeat the main man himself. Unfortunately, beating Mike Tyson in Punch-Out is almost as hard as it would be to beat him in real life. His avatar is about 10 times the size of the player character, he's more than capable of landing a one-punch knockout, and just to rub Salt Bae in the wound, he spends the whole match trash-talking. Well, guess what, Mike? You sucked in Ip Man 3. And as the English voice of Donnie Yen in that movie, it was fun kicking your ass. Oh, please don't hurt me. Number 6, Stage 15, Final Hallway, and Grim Reaper, Castlevania. It's not often that the hardest boss in a video game isn't actually the final boss, but considering the Grim Reaper is death incarnate, it shouldn't come as a surprise that you're going to die a lot when taking him on. floating around the screen throwing seemingly endless bouncing projectiles at Simon Belmont, the Reaper is the ultimate troll. Still not as bad as the trolls in comment boxes on forums, but it's worse than that. Number 5, Blighttown, Dark Souls. Fans of the Souls series will always preach that the infamous, grueling difficulty is worth it for the sense of accomplishment and high-level rewards. But all that goes out the window when it comes to Blighttown. Rickety ladders, tall walkways, narrow passages, and a poisoned swamp waiting at the bottom. Blighttown could well be the most frustrating area From Software has ever created. Complex and confusing, you'll be begging to just move on to somewhere, anywhere else. Entering Blighttown also makes losing your souls even worse, since you may have to venture back into its toxic underbelly to reclaim them. Number 4, Triforce Quest. Of course. The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Nobody ever wants to do a fetch quest. Everybody hates fetch quests. Yet this segment takes that boring, padded element and rockets it up to, hey, listen, levels of awful. While it's there to make up for cut dungeons, it's still a mandatory exploration of the seas, wherein you have to find 7 Triforce charts, essentially collecting and following maps upon maps upon maps. Not everyone is averse to exploring the Wind Waker's cell-shaded seas, but many more would rather get back to the game and continue the story. Luckily, it was improved for the remastered version on the Wii U, where the whole thing became much more streamlined. Arigato! Number 3, Wrong Side of the Tracks, Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas.
Follow that train!
How hard can following a train really be? Very, it turns out, especially when you're subjected to one of GTA's infamous difficulty spikes at the same time. After CJ and Big Smoke are ambushed by the rival Vargos gang, they try to escape on a train, while CJ and Smoke give chase on a nearby dirt bike. Think it will be a cakewalk? Well, get ready to maintain top speed and maneuver like crazy while being shot at. As you might have guessed, it's all too easy for the train to escape into Las Venturas before Smoke can kill all the gang members. I'm tired of these motherfucking difficulty spikes on this game! Hashtag that concludes my Samuel L. Jackson type rant.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
Number 2, Parking Garage, Driver. The sun-soaked streets of Florida are one of the best things about the first Driver, but unfortunately, they're a beauty few people have actually seen. This is because it has a notoriously difficult tutorial stage set in a drab gray parking garage, in which you'll have to complete a long series of tricky maneuvers, which are actually harder than anything in the game itself. A bad tutorial stage can ruin a great game by cutting off progressing, and it's not like the PS1 had the best controls to begin with. There it is. Yep, I felt the Haber rage coming. I'm gonna swallow it down with some Ambien and wine. Be right back.
God damn, you the man. We gonna need you.
Number 1. Oh boy. Yep, you knew it was coming. Say it with me now. Rings. Superman 64. Already the worst superhero game ever made, there's also a strong case that Superman 64 is also the worst game, period. The endless flying through rings certainly doesn't help. And since ring obstacle courses make up the brunt of the gameplay, it's hard to imagine anybody having the patience to get to the end. Players must guide Superman through said rings within the time limit, without missing any, and then complete an additional objective right after. Failing in any way means a complete restart, and the broken controls only make the ordeal worse. Ultimately, players will be given a choice: save Metropolis or destroy the game cartridge for the sake of your own sanity. I think you know which one I'm gonna go with.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.